I wasn't supposed to notice it. I was only reviewing blueprints, digital overlays, floor plans of the east wing for an internal audit. The building was old, but the plans had been updated regularly, scanned, restructured, even rebuilt in 3D. Everything matched. Every wall, every hallway, every exit code and fire door, until I saw it. Room R0. Unlabeled, no door. Just a solid rectangle embedded between two maintenance shafts on the sublevel. It didn't belong there. Nothing connected to it. No access. No ductwork. No service route. But it was there, in the file, embedded like a thought that never quite surfaced. I zoomed in. The dimensions were precise. 3 1 meters wide, 4 2 meters long. I ran a historical file check floor plans from 1974, 1989, 2005. The room was always there. Even before the east wing was completed, the earliest sketches had penciled it in. No label, no note, just a shape. I searched the asset database. No inventory code, no structural notes, no photographic documentation. I submitted a flag to my supervisor. He responded 5 minutes later. Room doesn't exist. Disregard. That was all. But I couldn't. I ran a building scan that night just to satisfy myself. Infrared, LiDAR, no signal, a void in the wall. Not empty, just unregistered. I didn't sleep well. The next day, I checked the physical space, went to the sublevel, hallway between maintenance 2 and storage 7. I counted the steps. There should have been a seam, a panel, a wall cut, but there was nothing. Just more hallway, more wall, seamless. But when I stopped and pressed my palm to it, the air felt different. Still, not cold, just hesitant, like the wall was holding its breath. I walked back, took a photo. Later, when I checked the image, the hallway looked wrong. Warped, angled. The far end of the corridor tilted slightly toward me, like it had bowed inward while I wasn't looking. I showed the photo to a coworker. They said it looked fine, normal, but it was. I printed it out, laid it over the blueprint. It didn't align. The hallway in the picture was longer than the hallway on paper, by exactly 4 2 meters. I didn't show anyone else. That night, I dreamt of a door, thin metal, no handle, just a sticker. Typed words, old ink, do not remember. I woke up at 3:13 am. My phone screen glitched. The background had changed. A photo I didn't take, grainy, black and white. A room, 4 walls, 1 chair, and something blurred in the center, like motion caught mid-thought. I tried to delete it. The phone froze. I turned it off. Didn't turn it back on until morning. The photo was gone, but now, every time I look at the map, my eyes go straight to room R0. And every time I try to print it out, the paper comes out blank. Just a soft gray square, perfectly centered. Like the printer knows, some spaces aren't meant to be marked, only remembered. I told myself I was done, that I'd submitted the report, flagged the anomaly followed protocol. But 3 nights later, I found myself reopening the floor scan. The LiDAR capture had finished buffering. I clicked into the waveform. At first, it was silent, flatline background hum, the usual mechanical resonance. But then I saw them. Peaks, precise, consistent. 1 every 3 seconds. At first, I thought it was an error, a heartbeat echo from the machine. But the rest of the scan was clean, only in one slice, directly adjacent to room R0. I isolated the segment, boosted the gain, ran it through a filter. What came out wasn't electronic, it was physical. A knock, faint, slow, hollow, 3 seconds apart, like someone pacing their breath in the dark. Knock, pause, knock, pause. I let it loop. I lost track of how long I sat there. The sound was dull, but deliberate. Not panic, not force, just presence. I checked the room metadata. No sensors triggered, no cameras placed, no access. I scrubbed through the footage anyway. At timestamp 3:11:42, the hallway lights dimmed by 3%. The only anomaly. No alarm, no report, just a brief loss of brightness, like the corridor blinked. I checked the system log. At that exact time, a ghost user had opened a terminal session from R0. The ID didn't match any current or archived staff, and the session lasted 43 seconds. I ran a trace. It returned 1 line, receiving. That was all, just that word. I told myself it was a script bug, a leftover placeholder, but I couldn't stop thinking about the knock, the steadiness of it, like it wasn't trying to escape. It was trying to keep rhythm, trying to be remembered. I looped the sound into my headphones, let it play quietly while I worked. That was when I noticed something worse. At the 43rd knock, there was a change, barely audible. A breath, inhaled, shaky, like someone gathering the courage to speak. Then silence. And over the next 5 seconds, a new waveform formed. Uneven, hesitant, then words, faint. So quiet I almost missed them. Whispered through static. I'm still inside. I stopped the recording, deleted the file, emptied the trash, but the knock kept playing. Not through my speakers, through the room. At 3:11, I heard it again. 1 knock, soft, from the corner of my apartment wall. The same interval, same rhythm, as if I had brought something home. Or maybe it had just been waiting for someone to hear it again. I opened the 3D model again, just to confirm it was gone, that whatever flicker of room R0 had shown up before was part of some system glitch or rendering anomaly. But this time, it was there, fully formed, not just a gray square on a blueprint. It had depth, walls, a floor, no textures, just concrete, unfinished, like a space paused mid-construction and left behind. I zoomed in. The rest of the building loaded slowly, shadows and structural layers flickering into place like memory. I rotated the camera. No door, No window, just a room. Static. Wrong. I clicked to center it. The view passed through the wall as if it wasn't there. Inside, a chair. The same as in the grainy photo on my phone, the one I had no memory of taking, and sitting on it was a figure, still, unmoving, head lowered. I adjusted the angle. The render caught up slowly. The lighting shifted. The figure looked up, and I froze. It was me. My clothes, my posture, my face, down to the faint scar on the right brow. The model glitched slightly. The edges of the render flickered. The eyes remained fixed, not on the room, on me. Through the screen, the figure didn't blink. I exited the model, reopened. It was gone. No R0. No chair. But I couldn't shake the look. Not fear, not surprise, just recognition. Like that version of me had been waiting for the camera to finally find him. That night, I dreamt I was walking a hallway that didn't end. The lights dimmed behind me. The air got thicker. I heard the knock again 3 seconds apart, but this time it wasn't from a wall. It was from inside my chest, echoing, like memory trying to find rhythm again. At the end of the hallway stood a door. The sticker was still there. Do not remember. I reached for it. It opened before I touched it. And in the room, just one light. And the same chair, empty now. But I knew someone had just stood up. I felt the heat in the air. I turned around. I saw myself standing in the hallway, watching, waiting. I woke up gasping. My computer was on. The model open. The camera already positioned inside room R0. This time the figure wasn't seated. It was standing, facing the corner. And as I watched, its head turned 1 degree at a time until it was staring at the lens again. At me. And the rendering didn't glitch. It smiled. I traced the model coordinates, cross-referenced the GPS data with structural schematics, manually overlaid every layer until it became clear room R0 sat exactly in the space between the south stairwell and the old boiler room, buried behind reinforced walls that shouldn't leave any gap at all. But something in the measurements didn't add up. The hallway was a few centimeters too long. The floor dipped ever so slightly. I visited the site at night. No one followed. No cameras worked. The lights dimmed just as I reached the coordinates. I pressed my palm against the concrete wall where the room should have been. Nothing happened, but the air changed. It wasn't colder. It was quieter, like everything on the other side had stopped breathing. I whispered, "I see you." And the wall gave in, just slightly, like memory softening. A seam appeared, a line I hadn't seen before, now undeniable. I ran my hand along it. It was warm, too warm. The concrete vibrated faintly, like something had just stepped back from the other side. I leaned in, listened. One knock, soft, then silence. I didn't open it. I didn't have to. It opened for me, without sound, without pressure. A thin rectangle of dark widened into a room I didn't remember, but knew. Instantly, 4 walls, a chair, a light that didn't shine, only revealed. The room had no dust, no scent, no gravity, just presence. At the center, the chair was empty, but only for a moment, because as I stepped in, I felt something slide out of me. Not a soul, not breath, something else, like forgetting. My shoulders relaxed, my heartbeat slowed. I turned around. The door was gone, the wall sealed smooth, no exit. But I wasn't afraid, because I'd been here before. Not in this life, not in any that I remembered, but in the seams of sleep, in the pauses between decisions, in the empty hallways where my footsteps always echoed too long. I sat down. The chair fit. It remembered me. I closed my eyes. Somewhere outside, someone would find the blueprint. They would see the room. They would trace it. They would wonder. And one night, they would come here, and they would hear me knock, not out of fear, not to escape, just to say, I'm still inside.